Hi YouTube, Fiona Corwin. This afternoon I'm going to be talking to you about the gym. I managed to muster the courage to go to the gym this week. I started out just by kind of walking around, exploring the facility, getting a feel for where things were, and making a plan. If this is something you want to do as a trans person, I recommend touring the facility in clothes that you're comfortable with and learning kind of where things are, how things are laid out, so that you too can develop a plan. Things that I was concerned about included whether or not I was going to be able to shower privately if I needed to, change privately if I needed to, and whether or not folks were actually going to read me as trans while I was there. It was an interesting experience. I forced myself to go through each of the locker rooms and was not read even once. That's good news because I'm kind of at the place where I need to start working out again. And so I did. The first day I went to school with no makeup and other than a little eyeliner, and that was because I was afraid that if I went in full makeup that I would sweat it off and look just a mess after I worked out. After talking to my wife about it today, a couple days later, she basically said, yeah, you're going to sweat some of it off, but you're not going to look that bad. You're going to be fine. Just try it. You'll see. So I went to the gym in full makeup today, and it was fine. I'm actually showing you the after results of that trip, and as you can see, my hair is a little flat, a little frizzed out around the edges, but my makeup is pretty solid. So that's a fear that you don't need to worry about. In terms of tips and pointers for you guys, I guess tour the facility, wear some good constrictive panties on top of your regular panties if you need to. I'm blessed in that I am not sufficiently well endowed so as to require a tuck. I have pretty much flat appearance with just a pair of feminine girdle panties, and that works just fine for me. You'll need to do whatever you need to do to feel comfortable. The larger stalls in the bathrooms are large enough to change in if you're uncomfortable changing in front of others. Most gyms offer showers with drapes, so bring your flip-flops. You certainly don't want the athlete's foot that's available from walking back and forth. This is no different in the women's room as the boys' room. Athlete's foot is non-discriminatory with regards to gender. So take your flip-flops, wash them often, and when you're working out, I recommend keeping a towel with you just so that you can dab your face occasionally and keep the sweat out of your eyes. If you have a pair of bicycle gloves or fingerless gloves that have some grip to them, those are really useful in terms of not blistering your hands when you're lifting. I also recommend, and this is from my experience, so take it with a grain of salt, but I recommend alternating one day for weights, one day for cardio, one day for weights, one day for cardio. And remember to change up your cardio. Doing the same thing every day, the body gets fairly used to it. So even if it's just every week, so if you do elliptical one week, do bike the next week, do the treadmill the next week, just change it up, and you'll experience better results that way. I am not doing exercise at this point to lose weight. I'm doing exercise to tone up what muscle I have left. And I have to tell you that estrogen combined with my weight loss surgery has completely reduced my strength to laughable levels. I started by setting machines to the levels that I remembered that I could lift 2 years ago and couldn't move them. Dropped it a level, couldn't move them. Dropped it 2 more levels, couldn't move them. Decided that I was going the wrong way and started at 0 and worked my way up until it was comfortable. Just an amazing amount of strength lost and all the body mass that I lost. So be patient with yourselves. Estrogen will kick your butt. But a weak woman doesn't need to necessarily be what a woman is. So you're allowed to be strong. You're allowed to be flexible. I recommend that you stretch before and after if you can manage it. I recommend a warm up and a cool down period. Um, Sometimes it's difficult to schedule the time to do both of those things, but really 10 to 20 minutes on either side of a workout can make a huge difference in terms of how you feel the next day. Working those muscles allows you to work the lactic acid out of them, drinking lots of water. Make sure you're loaded before you go in, take a jug with you, try to drink that while you're there. That will make a huge difference, again, in how you feel the next day. Remember that it's not weakness to take a Tylenol or an ibuprofen. It's actually okay, and do what you need to do to feel okay. The final recommendation I would offer you is based on stuff that I got from Bill Phillips, The Body for Life, and the idea is that you give yourself a free day. One day a week, you eat what you want, you don't exercise, you just indulge yourself, you have a good time. And the theory behind that is that the body needs to be challenged occasionally. So if all you're eating is healthy and all you're eating is good stuff, eventually you're going to break. And the reason is that you will grow tired of eating that way at some point, and you're going to want the cheeseburger, you're going to want the ice cream. And if you have made a habit of denying yourself that, you will reach out for that and finally choose to take it. And the problem with that is that you can then beat yourself up for missing your diet or not doing what you're supposed to do, which can really take you out. So, I recommend just taking your time and allowing yourself a little bit of freedom, at least a day a week. Also, don't push it too hard. A lot of us, like, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to do as good as I can, I'm going to push as hard as I can. If you haven't worked out in a while, that can be even kind of dangerous. Check with your physician to make sure that you're fit for exercise, and start slow. Keep an eye on your heartbeat. Put your fingers here, feel your heartbeat. Do a 10 to 30 second time, multiply that by a minute. You don't really want your heartbeat to get too high. Look up online what your heartbeat should be for you, and don't exceed that. Gradually over time, exercise and effort will cause you to have a lower heartbeat at a greater exertion. Going too hard too fast could be problematic, so be careful. All of these points of view are experiential for me. These are things that I have done over the years, and should be taken with a grain of salt. I am not a professional athlete. I have not worked out consistently in many, many years, but this was gleaned from the knowledge that I had many years ago, where I did work out fairly regularly. So I will keep you posted on my progress at the gym. Remember, though, confidence is really what's going to get you through being trans and being in the locker room, male to female or female to male. It's really confidence that's going to carry you through. That is really the key to any level of passing. The reality is none of us really pass. I get clocked still from time to time, and it's always infuriating, and it's always just heartbreaking, and I always struggle with it for days. But the days that I can manage to just kind of roll with it, and be okay with being trans, those days go better. So that's what I have, folks. If you have questions or comments, please leave them below, and I'll get to them as quickly as I can. And remember, life is beautiful, every moment precious. Seize the day. Hug the ones you love, tell them that you love them. Call your mama, she misses you. Thanks, folks. Bye-bye.